Hi everybody, this is Mark Jansen from Jansen Photo Expeditions. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about your camera and its sensor. I talk to a lot of photographers at our workshops and they're always telling me things like, oh gosh, I got this dust on my sensor, I don't know what to do about it. But I always suggest to them, what you need to do is clean your sensor once in a while. And they get a little concerned and they say, oh my gosh, I have to send it in and have it done. It's going to cost me, $50. And I say, well, you don't need to spend $50. You can go ahead and, get some basic tools to do it yourself. It's not too complicated. If you can change the lens on your camera and put a sensor, put a media card in your camera, like this, you can certainly clean your sensor. But today, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to show you how to actually clean the sensor, and there's a few different ways to do it. There's some ways not to do it, and there's some ways to do it that are quite successful. So over the few minutes here, I'm going to go through and show you a few of the steps that I've been using for years on cleaning sensors. And you can go ahead and get a little kit yourself and take care of this.
Okay, I have a few simple tools here for cleaning your sensor. There's some tools you shouldn't use and some tools you should use. First of all, I suggest everyone get one of these. It's a blower, puffer, and then also a magnifying glass. This has got a little light on it so you can look down into the sensor. Now they make some of these that are round, they're loops, or this type, and this is a pretty basic model. This can be used for a lot of different things, but I like using it for the sensor. Okay. Oops, and there's a couple of things you shouldn't use. This is a lens pen or a sensor pen. A lot of people like using these because they're simple, and they open up their camera and they pop this deal, and then they run this over the sensor. I don't recommend this because this can really damage the inside of that system. So don't use one of these. Get rid of that. And also there's what's called a brush, and this is a particle brush, and this is an energized particles. These are when they move around, they create a magnetic field, and they can actually pick up dust as you're running it over the sensor. I used to use these in the early days. I don't use them so much anymore because normally I find that they really don't do a job of picking up any of the particles. Most of the particles that seem to connect to the sensor are kind of sticky, so this doesn't do much. It smears things around, and so I've really quit using one of these, and I don't really recommend this. We have these pec pads, which you basically take one off and you wrap it around this plastic wand with rubber band, and it creates a little wiper. And then you have another device where the wiper's already attached, and I found that these work a lot better than these. So I quit using these after a while because it got to be kind of a hassle putting this all together. So we'll get rid of that. So we have these devices here. And these are great because you can get them for different size sensors. And then what you do, you use some of this E2 Eclipse sensor cleaning fluid, and you apply it to the tips of this, and then you go into your sensor and use it as a wiper. So this is what I'm going to use today, all these four devices, and I'm going to show you how to clean your sensor using all these. Okay? Go. Okay, the first thing you want to do is determine whether your sensor is dirty. The best way to do this is to set your camera on f/22, then take a photograph at a distant object at a light pole to get a focus, and then focus on the sky. You'll take one photograph, take the media card out, put it in your computer, open it up, and that'll show all the specs, or if any specs that are on the camera sensor. Once you've determined this, you'll have to clean the sensor. Now the first thing I do before I use any of this device, this product here, is I'll use the blower. So I will take the lens off, and then I'll go into my settings, and I'll go into the tools there, and I'll find lockup for cleaning. Now a lot of different cameras have this in a different location. This is a Nikon, so this is specific to this. Okay, now the sensor is open and exposed. You can see it in there. That's the sensor. So what I'll do, I'll take the rocket blower and I'll turn the camera upside down and I'll do a quick puff like this. And that's about it. nothing more than that. Any loose particles will most likely drop out of the camera, and then keeping the camera pointed down, I'll turn it off, and that will, the mirror will cover the sensor over again, and you're okay. So I'll take the media card out again. I'll go back to my computer and see if this blower dislodged any of the dust on the sensor. If you find that there are some particles that aren't removed, what you want to do is go and use a what's called a wet cleaning method, which I use it for. I use this once in a while, but most of the time after use my camera, I always have to go in and do this, because this will remove anything that's on the sensor. And it's not on the sensor exactly, it's on a glass low pass filter that covers the sensor. So you're not actually cleaning the sensor, you're actually wiping any particles off the glass plate that's covering the sensor. So that's the best way to do that. What I'll also is use a magnifying glass like this and look into the sensor to verify that there is dirt on the sensor. So I'll go in there and I'll look, and you'll be able to see. Okay? So what you want to do, you want to take one of these swabs. They each come individually sealed with this particular company, which that's why I like them. Then you'll take a couple of drops of your sensor cleaner. Now this is Eclipse. This is a ethyl alcohol, but especially designed for this. Don't use anything else. But a couple of drops. That's all you need. Close it up. And what you want to do, you want to go into your sensor very carefully and just one swipe across, pull it out, and then turn your camera off. And that's all you need to do. And usually throw these away after you're done. When you get these, you get a box of like 12, so they last quite a while. And then what you want to do, you put your camera lens back on. That. And then take another shot at f/22 just to verify that you cleaned all the dirt off your sensor. And that's the way you clean a sensor, basically. It's pretty simple, a little dexterity, but I'm sure you can do it. So that's all that's needed to clean your sensor. It's a few simple devices here. You can email me about any of this and I can help you out. Maybe you can join us on one of our workshops. This is Mark Jansen from JansenPhotoExpeditions.com. Thank you.